Hey there, okay, so welcome back. This is where we left off with our concept art, and I've worked on it some more, another hour or so, adding in more to it. And let me show you. One thing I thought when I left this was that the background here was, even though it's nice, it pops out the hut quite nicely. It's still a bit bright. I want the light coming in, but I want it to sort of speckle the ground. I don't want it quite so bright as that. So this is what I did. I took it down a bit on the sort of ground level. I still kept it quite bright above, up in the treetops. You can see I've, where the main source of light is coming in now. It's coming in through the trees. So what have I done here? I've added more detail. So I put another layer on the ground. I went and found some sort of grassy, gritty, and place that on the ground, and you can see it adds a lot more detail there. I put the same texture up on the roofing, darkened it, and just painted into some of the corners to give you the impression there's tiles on that roof underneath the sort of mossy layer that's on top. Painted up this tree a little bit more, but I don't like it. I'm going to probably take it back darker to where it was before. And like I said, I worked into the background to give it, make it a bit more shadowy, a bit more dark. I want it to feel a little bit ominous, not too, if you look at this before, it was too, a bit sunshiny. It's a lovely sunny day out there, streaming through the trees. So I wanted to take that down a bit and make it feel a bit darker, if you like. A few more trees. Just added more detail, more layers, more texture layers up there. And on the ground, you can see I've put texture all the way up through here, using the exact same technique as I showed you down here. And I painted in these are just, if you zoom in on these, just splodges of lines where it gives the impression that it's sort of stones that you can sort of walk up through, and there's a path there that leads away. That's the idea. And if you look in close, you can see some of the textures that I've used. If you look close, these are all textures. You can see they are, but if you get the values right, adjust them, they work. It works well, and it's such a time saver. I think all in all, if you were to start this, you could probably do it in a day quite easily. But it's it's hard work. As long as you know what you're doing, what values you want, what sort of atmosphere you're looking for, there's no reason why you can't achieve this. Like from this here, which is how we left it last time, to this here, it's probably another hour I worked into this, because I knew what I wanted to do. As long as you know where you want to go with it, then it's quite easy to sort of bring in the values and start painting it in quite easily. So what else you added? Did I have that before? Yeah, I added that accent thing before. Just worked into the shadows some more. Added some sort of things on the ground here. Yeah, some more sort of bushes and plants. Made it a bit more defined. Yeah, you can see how that was what the tree was like on the right hand side here. I think I'll go back to that. I don't think I'll leave it like this. It doesn't work. I kind of overworked it. It's like I was saying before, you can keep going and going and going, but you got to know when to stop, and I should have left that as it was. It was fine. A few more branches. I started playing with this sort of the light in amongst the trees, the rays. That will need some more work going forwards. Yeah, so all in all, quite happy with that. So what we're going to do now is just sort of add some colour to this. Colour is always a tricky one because it changes your imagery so dramatically. When you look at that, you get all the values are correct, or correct as far as you want them to be. And then you're going to add colour to it, because colour will change the mood of it. I could make this sort of warm colours and give you the impression that it's it's sort of almost getting night time on a warm summer's day, pretty much. We're going to be, this is the moon here, really. It's a bit bright for the moon, but it is going to be the moon, and this is going to be a yellowy light, sort of golden yellow light creeping out the windows here. So it depends what colours you use and how you apply them will definitely define the sort of mood that you want to convey when the viewer is looking at your image. We've already established that this is going to be a nighttime scene, so lots of blues. When we were going through the concept phase, I said to you it was going to be a bluey. If you look at the colour wheel, let me just bring that on. Okay, so this is the colour wheel I showed you in a previous lecture. And this is the sort of colour scheme we're going to use. We're going to use this blue sort of orangey complementary colour scheme in this scene. They're on opposite sides of the wheel and they sort of complement each other. So it's quite a common theme. And in Photoshop it's quite easy to do that. You kind of just set up a colour layer. So if I create a new layer like so, and I call this color. I can change the type of that layer to a color layer. I can then quickly start painting color into it. So let's go with a sort of darkish blue here. I can just fill this layer with blue, but that is not how you do it. This is not how you want to work into it slowly, gradually. In fact, I'm not happy with that blue anyway. I want it to sort of pull it down a bit more. Yeah, a bit more sort of green in it. And if you remember, I sort of said to you, the shadows have very coolish colours in them, and where there isn't shadow, you kind of want to bring more of the colour out of what it should be. So for example, let's look at this roof here. It would be more of a sort of a warmer colour. But you've got to be careful. You only want to do it subtly. If you do it too much, it'll break it. So you just want to do it gradually and slowly. So that's a bit too green there. Let's just pull it down a little bit. Let's just take the opacity down and start sort of working into it slowly. Working into the colours. And you can pick off the blue. Work that back into the image in areas where you want it to be not so in this case, not so yellowy, not so warm. It kind of acts like an eraser. And this area here, you want it to pop. You really want this area to pop right out. So you might have to really take it out. That's it. Just keep working on it. Just keep working on your colours, your shades. You want to take it down to darker sort of shades in various places. It's probably not quite warm enough, I don't think. So you can sort of be careful it's not too strong a colour. But just work into it slowly. There you go. That's better. So that's warmer. You want it to sort of feel inviting a little bit. There we go. And then on your actual image, you can get your bloom again. Crank it up. make it white too much. I'll take it right down. There we go. Just to make it sort of pop out a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure different artists do different things. You know, they'll probably say you can't do that and it's not right. Blah, you know, lots of things. But you know, it's whatever works. In my opinion, I just think, you know, do what works for you. And I find that this technique works for me quite nicely, actually. So I'll put some bit of green in the roof there. Just keep working it in. And there we go, we've got some colour already. So if I get rid of that colour layer, you can see it go back to black and white. But this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. You want to sort of work it in, do it slowly, and just keep working in some colour. Like in these back here, you might want a bit of turquoise, just to add a bit of green into it. Not too much, because it will sort of overpower it slightly if you're not careful. I think it might take the values of this down a bit more, the overall colour brightness, and because it feels quite bright at the moment still. Just adjust the levels. Something like that, perhaps. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's just a slight adjustment there. Makes the darker shadows. Makes the shadows a lot darker. Maybe a bit too much, perhaps. Anyway, it's up to you. Just keep working at it. You know, in the shadows, keep the blue where it's not, you know, so shadowy. You know, take it out. Take some of the blue out, because it doesn't really need it so much. You know, you don't want to saturate it with one colour. You want to, you know, work into it, break it up a little bit. You know, maybe some of this kind of, you know, add some warmer colour into the wood where the light is hitting it, like this, which will be really nice. Yes, that kind of thing. You know, still got a hint of sort of blue in it, but you know, even though it kind of gives you the impression it's brown, but look at the colours on this colour thing over here. You know, it's nowhere near brown. There's no brown in that palette there. This is more greeny, sort of greeny colour. But because we're on blue, you know, it's let's make it look brown, which is, you know, green and blue makes brown. Let's just paint some in where the light is hitting it. It's quite nice. Down around here, perhaps, especially where, you know, closer to the camera, closer to your viewpoint, you do want to add some sort of some colour. You know, try and leave it in the shadows, like I was saying before. put some in on the wood. Keep building it up. Build up your colours, build up your layers. Just like I was saying before, I'm going to leave the shadowy areas very blue. But already you can start to see it come through, which is pretty cool. Take that light down there a bit, take it down because it's quite bright. Okay, so I'm going to carry on painting into my colours here, and I'll see you in a moment. I'm just going to do the same as I've just been doing, keep working into the colours. Colours is quite a stickler for me. It's takes me a bit of time. It was the hardest point when I was, as an artist, when I was coming up through, if you like, in art college. Colour was always the most difficult part for me to get right, and I still take time now getting colour right. So it's a bit of a long procedure. Anyway, so I'm going to go away for a little bit, work on some colour, and come right back, and I'll see you in a moment. Hi there and welcome back. Okay, so this is where we left it. A bit murky still, and I've worked into it, and this is kind of where we are now. You can see it's a lot richer. I've made the colours a lot more saturated because I think it looks cool like that. I'm going to bring out, if you look at this, it's richer in the window here than what it is here, and I think it's because the blue is quite overwhelming. We could even take it down a little bit, just adjust the saturation slightly perhaps, but so let's just adjust those values in there. There we go. Okay, so the first thing you really look at when you look at this image is this here. I'm going to do a little bit more work on that. I'm not entirely happy with that. It's a bit bright. I think it's a bit too overwhelming. It just needs to be, yeah, that's what it needs. It just needs to be taken down a bit. Give the impression that it's not just flat. There we go, that's a bit better already. Yeah, so there you can see I've kind of I brought the colour up quite a lot from that. I kind of kept the warm colours the same, but because there's more blue, it kind of sort of blends it in a lot better. Put some speckliness on the ground, give the impression of shadows. Still got this tree. I'm going to paint that out soon. Yeah, and that's it pretty much. And that's kind of how you do colour. One other thing I did, just to put it into sort of a bit more into perspective, I painted this sort of silhouette. This is quite a classic sort of cliched thing to do. Oops. Okay, yeah. So you can imagine this fellow. He's just arrived on the scene, and he's looking at this this hut. And you notice I've sort of placed him on the sort of a line on the rule of thirds line here, and this is on that line there, so they kind of work together. It needs something in here to sort of break it up, and I'm going to put these barrels in here with sort of flames coming out of them just to break that up a little bit more. Yeah, but I think this guy sort of adds quite a lot. Just puts it all into perspective a little bit. Let's just scale him a little bit here. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. That's our color scene, and I'm just going to sort of finish it up now, add some more little details, and then in the next lecture where we conclude, I'll show you the final result, and hopefully you've got something very similar. I'll see you in the next lecture.